you'll be starring in the film as the main character of Janice. So, what was your inspiration in really developing this film overall, and really wanting to create the film overall?
Hmm. Well, the inspiration for Grace is from my first year clean from heroin addiction. And I really wanted to tell a story of hope and recovery as opposed to a story of active addiction. And with this film, I would love to be able to start a conversation and bridge the gap between addicts and non-addicts talking about addiction and recovery.
And Chris Ordal both wrote the screenplay for the short and as well as directed it. So, how did he become involved with the project overall? Did you approach him with the idea for the film? What was that process like overall?
Well, Alicia Viner, who plays Bridget, who plays the role of Bridget in the film, she introduced me to director Chris Ordal, and I took a meeting with him and sent him the script, and he loved it. And we had a meeting, and we talked about how we could collaborate on it together. And then the ball kind of pretty much started rolling from there.
And how closely did you work with Chris as he was both writing the script for the film as well as directed? What was your relationship with him like as you were filming the movie overall?
um, it was a wonderful collaborative process between the two of us. I had spent about a year and a half on the script prior to meeting Chris, and I felt, coming from being an actress, that I had done as much as I could do with this script. So when Chris came on board, he was really able to translate the script as well as the story into the visual format of film. And he did a wonderful, amazing job with being able to tell that story visually as well as with dialogue. So that was a great process, kind of honing the script. And, the short film is almost like a haiku format. So it's like every bit has to count, every bit has to have meaning. You don't have the luxury of an hour and a half to do some kind of you don't have the luxury of an hour and a half to kind of do something that might not be super imperative for the bottom line of the film, kind of thing. So that was a wonderful process. And then being on set as a director, he's the creative genius when it comes time to having to make decisions of what needs to be done, and working with his actors and giving his actors space to create and really kind of bring their characters to the table. So
And since the film overall, you based it on your own experiences, how did you really get into Janice's mindset before you actually began filming?
in terms of the character,
Yeah, how did you really prepare for the role overall?
oh, okay. Well, I've been working on the script for so long, and once Chris came on board and worked on the screenplay, I was really able to let go of the preciousness of the fact that this is my story, kind of thing. And I was really able to approach it from the actress, Marisa Vitali. Like, okay, this is the role I'm going to play, and now it's time to prepare for that character. So, within that process, I I was able to really kind of work with a lot of sense memory and kind of go back to my Strasbourg roots, so to speak, to really be able to bring some real life depth to this woman and this struggle that she's having on a daily basis.
And besides acting in the film, your production company, Uptight Productions, is also producing it as well. So, did working with your production company on the film maybe influence the way you portray Janice overall?
Um, I'm just thinking, I don't think so, because I was able to. Alicia Weiner also introduced me to an amazing producer by the name of Claudine Merritt, and when she came on board to produce, it was really wonderful to have her be part of the team, because I was really able to, once it came time for production, I was really able to step off and be the actress, Marisa Vitali, on set. And she was able to come in and make whatever decisions needed to be made on set.
And
You know, when it came time, like for production questions or issues, and I just felt super confident knowing that she had my back in that department. So it really allowed me to kind of like be present with the work and play and, you know, put on my actress hat, so to speak.
hmm. And you shot the movie in Tim's Shipwreck Diner for most of the production in your hometown of Northport. So what was that experience like? Since I had read that you actually worked there previously as a waitress. So what was that process like of going back and filming at the diner for most of the shoot?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that was part of the journey of the film for me. It was definitely coming a full circle, and it was almost a homecoming in a way because it felt so great to be in this space because I had worked there for a year, and even just growing up, we always went to the diner on the weekend. So it's almost like putting on those like comfy pair of sneakers, you know, that you know so well. And it was just such a wonderful experience shooting there, and cast and crew had such a blast and got to eat all of their great like home cooked food for Crafty, and it was just a really wonderful experience being there. And Tim, the owner, has been super supportive of the film and of this project, as well as the town of Northport as well. So just to know that there's this generosity of spirit supporting the project has really just been an amazing feeling to be able to have all these elements of your life kind of come together in one project, like present, past, and future. It was really, it's really a beautiful moment in time.
And you've said that the message of the film is really about hope and recovery. So, what do you hope that audiences can really take away from the theme of this film overall?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that can be taken away, and I think that what will be taken away will be based on what you bring, what your the life experience that you bring to viewing this film. Because if you are an addict, you're going to have a different experience seeing this film as someone that's not an addict or not in recovery. So I feel that for people that are in recovery or that are addicts, they will identify with this story, and maybe it will give them a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel if they feel that they're struggling through something mentally, emotionally, physically. And for people that are non-addicts, I'm hoping that they'll be able to walk away with a little bit of compassion, that it's not just such a black and white situation. Like now you're in recovery, now you're clean, you're not doing drugs, and that's it, you're cured. You know, that there is still a struggle on a day-to-day basis just to survive your emotions without going for that drug, without going for that drink. And so I feel that based on those two experiences, viewing the film and taking that away, I think that that's the bridge of the gap of the conversation that doesn't exist. It always seems that people want to talk about recovery or addiction once it's too late. Like now all of a sudden the star of Glee overdosed and now everybody is talking about it. Well, why weren't people talking about it 6 months ago? Kind of thing. It's always something that people want to keep hush hush and not talk about it till it's too late. And we've lost so many amazing people because of it. So I would love for this conversation to start sooner.
And you've mentioned that once the post production on the film is completed, you'll be submitting it to the Sundance Film Festival. So, if it's accepted there, what will that mean to you as both an actress and a producer of the film? What do you hope that what will you take away really if the movie is accepted at the festival?
That dreams come true.
And I also wanted to ask you about another film that you're going to be appearing in, November Lies. Is there anything about that character? You'll be playing Sarah in the film. Is there anything about her and maybe the story overall that you can discuss?
Sure. Sarah was was such a fun character to play because she is the mastermind behind the unraveling. And so for me as an actress, it was such a wonderful role. Shannon Lanier wrote an amazing script, and he also directed it as well, and it was produced by L&C Style Productions, who are the bomb. Just amazing people. And it's just such a wonderful kind of whodunit, and it's like around every corner. You're not really sure what's happening, and there's just some amazingly talented actors in it, from Deb Twist to Jack Marshall to myself, and it was just such a fun crew and cast to work with that I'm super excited to see how audiences are kept on the edge of their seat.
And like Chris, both directed and wrote Grace. Shannon both wrote and directed November Lies as well. So, do you generally prefer working with directors who also wrote the screenplay?
I think that directors who have written their own screenplay, they come to the table with a very deep understanding of the material. That the material lives extremely close to their bone, and they're able to access that information at any moment.
And besides films, you've also done some theater work as well. So, do you have a preference in maybe doing theater or film, or vice versa, or do you just enjoy acting overall?
Oh, I think they're both so wonderful and such a privilege for different reasons to be able to have the opportunity to work in both mediums. I love theater in the fact that you get to go on the ride from beginning, middle, and end. And film, for me, is just such a magical experience in the fact that you're really able to zero in on each moment to moment.
And my last question for you is, besides Grace and November Lies, do you have any other upcoming projects that you can discuss?
Yes, of course. I'm actually going to be doing a benefit staged reading of Light Up the Sky in the role of Nan Lowell this Monday night, which is July 29th. And I'm super excited because it's written by the fabulous playwright Moss Hart, and it's directed by his son Christopher Hart. And there's a wonderful award-winning theatrical cast that will be involved in this production. So I'm super excited to be a part of that. As well as I always enjoy doing audiobook narration for